Hello and welcome to Core Finance in association with NEX Exchange. It gives me great pleasure to introduce onto the show Alex Borrelli, who is the chairman of Black Sea Property Plc. Alex, good day to you and thank you for joining us here today.
Good morning, delighted to be here.
Well, let's start off. Can you just explain to our viewers what Black Sea Property is, your listed company, what you do, where you operate and how you make your money?
Excellent. Black Sea Property is a real estate company. We're now listed on NEX, which has been very good to the company. We were previously traded on AIM, moved to NEX, which has created a lot of opportunity for us. The focus of the company at this stage is to focus primarily on real estate assets in Bulgaria. We've spent some time with our key shareholders there looking at major projects, and we successfully concluded the acquisition of a trophy building in the middle of Sofia in the business district there from UniCredit. We've secured the debt finance, we've raised equity finance with support from our existing shareholders and some new investors, and completed the acquisition of that for about 11 million euros only recently.
Super. And what is the plan for that trophy asset? Are you looking to receive revenue on that, or looking hopefully for an uptick in the commercial property market? And
well, I think one of the key things for a real estate player that is listed in the UK is to focus on, as I say, trophy assets. The key assets are become much more attractive, I believe, to the institutional investor in due course. So this is a major building designed by a well-known local architect in Bulgaria called Nicola Lazarov. Had his own practice. He was educated partly in Paris and died in 1942, but a very prominent architect in Bulgaria. So we see that this is an attractive building. It's at the moment occupied by UniCredit, and we see it being tidied up in some form with further letting as an office building.
And with regards to a revenue stream, will you start to receive revenue straight away, or are you looking at kind of 12 months, 18 months further?
Yes, I mean, there is letting at the moment that continues with the tenants in place. We would see that we have a refurbishment program and continue the lettings.
Super. And with regards to these trophy assets and projects that you have operating in Bulgaria, with regards to your assets under management, what percentage of that portfolio would you allocate to such a trophy asset?
Black Sea Property works very closely with its property investment advisor called Phoenix, which is also a shareholder in the company, and their responsibility is to find projects for us. So to the extent that we mix the portfolio, depends on the projects that we see are going to generate good returns for the company over a period of time. We are looking at a number of projects with Phoenix at the moment, and would hope to update shareholders in due course.
Fantastic. And when a project or one of these trophy assets comes to light and looks like an interesting prospect, what's the process? Are you using your current kind of cash that you have in the company, or would you be looking at other debt financing and debt raising to cover those projects?
It's very difficult for a listed company to have a war chest of cash. So we would look to finance each project as they arise and as the board decides to proceed. We'd also look to have a mixture of debt and equity. Our admission document does publish the stats that we would like to have as an ideal formula, but up to 70% debt. Debt is relatively cheap to secure at the moment, and if we can achieve that, raise money from existing shareholders and new shareholders, we think we've got a winning formula for investing in real estate in Bulgaria. We'd also look outside Bulgaria, but the primary focus of the company is Bulgaria.
Understood. And a question some investors may ask is, why Bulgaria? Now, it's been in the European Union for the best part of 10 years. And you mentioned off air the drawdown or the move away from property investment in property in that area, going back 10 years after the financial crisis. So why Bulgaria, and why Bulgaria now?
Well, the dynamics of the GDP growth of Bulgaria are becoming increasingly attractive. There was a recent publication out this week describing Bulgaria as a real estate market that is showing growth. We expect the GDP growth to continue, and that we can get increasing rentals in Bulgaria. Admittedly, it's not the largest country in Central Eastern Europe. I previously have been chairman of a large real estate company focusing in Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary and Poland. We had only limited assets in Bulgaria, but I see that as a nice niche opportunity, particularly in Sofia as well as on the Black Sea coast.
Super. So you've got a lot of experience certainly in that area and in property. That'll be great for shareholders to hear.
Yes, and I'd like to introduce some of the previous shareholders we had at a former company into Black Sea in due course. I think the key with real estate is that there are big numbers, and you have to be large enough to be attractive to certain institutions. But we are very pleased with the support we've got, primarily from Bulgarian shareholders in Black Sea.
Super. And talking about the shareholder base, is it a mix of retail and institutions? Or
there are some smaller retail investors there, but it's the primary focus is 3 or 4 major institutions that are Bulgarian based.
Super. And just looking forward, let's say 12 to 18 months, obviously you've mentioned the right projects coming up and Phoenix highlighting the right projects. What can shareholders expect over the coming months, maybe even the coming years?
Well, I'd be pleased to tell you the plans, but I can't be very specific as we're a listed company.
Understood.
But we would look to increase the rental stream for the company, generate increasing earnings for shareholders. We'd look to focus on other projects that have a medium-term prospect of enhancing both capital value and increasing earnings. And we see building the portfolio with increasingly attractive assets as a focus on trophy assets. That is something that people can identify Black Sea Property with.
Super. And sorry, just finally, the management team. Can you just talk us through the experience of your management team, and are you looking to strengthen that team, or are you happy with who you've got in place with regards to personnel?
Well, we have, first of all, a very good board, a very supportive board that works and gels closely together. I work with Elena, who is our executive director. She's based in Bulgaria with a lot of experience. Jordan, who works as a lawyer at Borrelli & Co., leading solicitors in Sofia, and with Boris, who's a Bulgarian based in London. So together we communicate probably 2 or 3 times a week, and we work closely with Phoenix as the property investment advisor, and we have a whole team and access to a number of people out there that where we need resource we can tap into it. But we also maintain a fairly lean program with the company to protect the cost base, and we work, I should add, we work closely with Peterhouse, and Hina Karani there, who has been a very good advisor and supported the company strongly as we've developed.
That's great. Well, I'm sure investors and potential investors will be glad to hear that. In the meantime, Alex Borelli, Chairman of Black Sea Property, thank you very much for joining us here on Core Finance in cooperation with NEX Exchange.
Johnny, thank you for seeing me today.